today's opening. Who better could do that? And I'm very happy to welcome someone who has shaped this event from the very beginning, Gunther Fürstberger. He's CEO of MDI and brings many years of international experience in leadership and transformation. So anyone who has worked, I'm pretty sure many of you, right? Anyone who has worked with him knows he looks at the world and the future with enthusiasm, faces the challenges, and is a pioneer at MDI. His keynote asks one of the big questions of our time. How do we lead when AI is no longer just a tool, but becomes part of the way work gets done? Please join me in welcoming Gunther Fürstberger.
Right now, in organizations across every continent, a quiet revolution is unfolding. More than 3/4 of leaders and managers already use generative AI several times a week. AI workplace adoption has nearly doubled in just 2 years. This is no longer a pilot, it is the new operating environment. The World Economic Forum projects a net gain of 78 million jobs by 2030, but also that 39% of today's core skills will change in that same window. Employers everywhere are redesigning roles around human-AI collaboration. The team you lead tomorrow will include contributors that never sleep, never forget, and never get tired, but also never truly understand why their work matters. Here is the tension we cannot ignore. A global study of more than 48,000 people across 47 countries found that although 2/3 are already using AI regularly, fewer than half are willing to trust it. Adoption is racing ahead of governance. Only 40% of employees say their workplace even has a policy on generative AI use. When accountability is unclear, when no one owns the decision an algorithm helped make, trust erodes, not just in the technology, but in leadership itself. So what do leaders invest in when machines keep getting smarter? Recent research makes the answer surprisingly clear. Deloitte surveyed nearly 1,400 professionals and found that what separates high-performing teams from the rest is not their tech stack. It is enduring human capabilities, curiosity, resilience, divergent thinking, emotional and social intelligence. The World Economic Forum confirms the pattern. Alongside AI literacy, the fastest rising skills through 2030 are creative thinking, leadership, and the ability to adapt under pressure. The more powerful the tool, the more the human holding it matters. BCG found that when leaders visibly champion AI, positive employee sentiment jumps from 15 to 55%, but only 1 in 4 frontline workers feels they receive that kind of support today. The opportunity is enormous, and it starts with each of us in this room. Leading human potential in an AI-augmented world does not mean choosing between people and technology. It means building the trust, the governance, and the human capability that make both powerful. That is exactly where our conversation begins this morning. Please welcome Gunther, who will take us deeper into what it truly means to lead in the intelligent age.
A very warm welcome from my side. Where's the clicker? Here, thank you very much. Thanks, Aline. So this is my disruptor, or the speaker's disruptors. Everything is said within a few minutes. Generation of this doesn't take long. It doesn't cost much money. This is the world we are living in. Nevertheless, we hope to some extent that humans still want to be together with humans and also learn together, encounter with humans. And I'm happy that we all came together to see all of you here. By the way, I've been in lots of seminar and conference rooms, even paragliders next to us, which was hard to concentrate then on, but horses is the first time that I'm seeing here. Well, let's get started with something scary or a special moment. Who knows Death by Claw, this website? Okay, not many of you, but some do, yes. So maybe you have already tried to type in your company name there. That's quite an experiment. I was feeling really a little bit awkward when my colleague Matthias Grabner told me about this, and I said, well, MDI is too small that they would that it will be available here. No, I typed in MDI training. And I got quite an analysis, which is basically how many years do we still have as an organization until we are being disrupted by AI. Here's the answer, 2.5 years. It's a little bit shocking. For the last 22 years I've been working with MDI, I feel emotionally connected, and then you get this here. Beloved trainers of humans replaced by machine, death by claw. So, it can be quite cynical. So here it says the cause of death, Claude certified as an ICF equivalent executive coach, immediately offered to run a 6-month leadership cohort as a system prompt. By the way, 25 lines, the prompt. So who is prompting? You see, you can do quite some miracles. And that's cynical. The last words will be, but leadership is fundamentally human. And a little bit more here. And what Claude would say is, I have tremendous respect for the art of human-centered leadership development, and I'd never want to diminish the genuine relationships MDI facilitators have built. That said, I did just generate a 12-month leadership curriculum with psychometric assessments, a facilitator certification guide, can be quite thick, and a follow-up coaching cadence in about 4 seconds. So perhaps we should have a chat. But the good thing is, probably I've checked a few companies, including insurance companies, banks, and so on. You're quite safe, relatively safe. But you can try it out. Yeah, I mean, thinking about death is not necessarily something stupid, just the opposite. Because you can think about what can you let go and what's basically possible with that. What can you generate out of that? And I think there's lots of potential to build something new with AI. There's even potential to preserve things with AI, but definitely to build new things. And what I would like to share now in the next something like 13 minutes is some guiding principles of how to lead AI-augmented humans. And I just read them out and then I go a little bit into detail. The first one is AI cooperation is a superpower. Second, leadership responsibility remains with humans. Third, performance grows by developing AI-augmented teams or mixed teams. The division of labor with AI is dynamic. Then decisive and responsible transformation optimizes the chances of survival and thriving. And the well-being of humans and nature should be the compass for AI transformation. When I was young, I loved, and even today as well, fairy tales. And there's a lot of fairy tales about, for example, 3 wishes. You know that? And I was always thinking, well, the third wish should be to have another 100 wishes. But I thought, this is not possible, it's just a fairy tale. Well, up to now. We know that there's lots of studies already about productivity, impact of AI, and you have various results. And by the way, the studies only look at the past. They don't look at they cannot look so much at the future. Yes, but on an average, it's pretty clear that AI skills make experts, but also leaders and companies more effective in different ways. And that's why I like the metaphor of the Aladdin story or metaphor. You know, this guy who found... No, he didn't found. He was sent by an old man to a cave in order to find something like this. I have this at home already, I think, for 20, 25 years. I don't know where it came from. I just know, saw a photo when this was still here. So the genie is now coming always in and out. I don't know why this happened. But why would that be a good metaphor? Because I have to take a second device, which is mobile phone. Yeah, most of you have one. So you can talk to your mobile phone and agents execute tasks. I have seen Aguilera 3 days ago in Ischgl, and she sings Genie in a Bottle. I mean, it's a little bit in a different way meant, but it basically starts with you rub it, and then the genie comes out, yes? And here it's a little bit similar. You rub it somehow, and then you can talk to it. Quite similar. And you can use this genius of AI to do good things or to basically serve selfish purposes. And the good thing is also you can put it away. Not many of us can, but theoretically you could. So now let's stick with this for a moment. The superpower. We're complaining a lot in Europe at the moment that we miss the AI age. I don't think so. I think the application area is just starting. And we can start any time to build things. Just look about the internet time. Those companies, I was invested in Global Crossing, who had these cables through the ocean, and they were going bankrupt. But there's other companies like Facebook and so on who are built basically upon this then. And I think things like this can happen as well. We can still use that superpower. Second principle, leadership responsibility remains with humans. This is a little bit maybe wishful thinking, but I at least decide for myself to see it like this. AI is a tool. Like, for example, an airplane is extremely powerful, 1,000 times more powerful than a human being, but still should be controlled by a human being. And similar with AI, it should serve humans and not the other way around, even if there are some dystopian possibilities as well. But I think also how we approach it has an impact. For example, when we prepare a speech like this, yes, we could ask AI to do it for you, or you can start as a thought leader and say, okay, what's the message I want to bring across? What's the rough structure? And then just interact. Third principle, performance grows from development of humans and machines working together. So far, performance management was about developing teams, individuals, optimizing processes, and so on. And now we have a kind of a hybrid workforce, and it's about developing that. I see it more like an augmentation. It's still the humans which are being developed. It's not so much, you can see it as well, like you have the agents, and here you have the humans, and many are saying there will be more agents than humans on this planet soon. But at the end of the day, you could also see them as instruments, the agents. And this means there are 3 new development directions in the AI world, which is basically dealing with myself, with other people, and with AI. For example, when we start with ourselves, I think it becomes extremely important to develop critical thinking from the age of very young children. I have kids with 9 and 11 years, and we're talking about this. And the good thing is they know you cannot trust basically everything. I hope that they not only say it, yes. So when do I disagree here, yes? The other thing is learning agility. Basically, things are changing all the time. So we continuously need to integrate new things. And probably the most important thing is to get out of reactiveness, out of push notifications, out of only, because this just drives us crazy, and going into proactivity, to making a conscious decision when to, for example, stop using AI or when to use it in a conscious way. Dealing with other people. I do believe humans need humans at the end of the day, and that's why we still, we will for sure work with AI trainers, yes, but we will also like to meet other people. And I think one thing, I've learned it last year at the conference, this is the expression of FOBO. You might remember it still. This is fear of being obsolete. And this is something which I fully understand, because if we don't steer that, and there is a political task in the whole thing, we might get a society where some people get very powerful with companies. We see this happening at the very moment, and others are being left behind. And we need to be able to be, on the one side, empathic about it, and on the other side, also quite willful about making sure that everybody stays relevant. Dealing with AI, I mean, there's lots of trainings around that. At the end of the day, you could say it's about wish formulation or goal definition, but you can do this in an interactive way nowadays. You just talk and you ask, how should I prompt that you understand me? Things like this work very well already. And also quality control, meaning neither mystify AI nor blindly trust it, but just work together and look objectively, if possible. The division of labor with AI is dynamic. What cannot delegate today, I might be able to delegate in half a year. Because new functions are coming. Memory is getting much better, for example. And our colleague Macholm, the only one whom we invited from last year, or not the only, but whom we invited from last year to come again, last year talked about platform polygamy. It was easy to remember. So basically he said, don't stick with OpenAI only or with Claude only. And in the meantime, I adopted that habit and it makes really a lot of sense because some things are so much better on Claude and then other things do not work there or the servers are not working or something like that. Each day something new is coming out, so it makes sense to try out new things. What exactly will come in the future, we don't know. So today probably we do analysis and some planning which is AI supported. It goes via more personalization. We will have AI supported planning tasks in the future, and in 5 years probably we might be mostly architects of meaning, culture and responsibility, because we can delegate more and more, especially of the cognitive tasks to AI, but also of the physical tasks. The robot revolution is basically also getting started right now. So what does it mean for us? I think there's two things which make a lot of sense. We should shift from doing to thinking, really stepping back, one step back and think where to go. And the other one is from reacting to shaping. And I know that at least there is a tendency on the workplace, we have so many things to do, we are reacting to one email, to the other push notification and so on, but it's about shaping more and more. Fifth principle, future-proofing of organization comes through decisive and responsible AI transformation. You know the picture, I've mentioned it last year ago. It took 30 years that the steamships took care of the world trade instead of the sailing ships, and there was basically almost no company from the sailing ships companies which were very rich who were after that revolution still in charge. And I know that nowadays people understand that probably better, but the AI revolution is multiplying intelligence as the industrial revolution has multiplied physical strengths. And like this, in order to really stick with success, I think we need some passion for transformation as well, at the same time as we need responsibility. And one possibility would be, for example, on a company level, to work with looking at the different areas of an organization and say, what are we doing this quarter in order to make sure that we transform in that direction? So we are doing this since a few years now. And if you look back 2-3 years and see, wow, we have done this, then it really makes a culture change. And on a personal level, I would even say we need to do this on a daily level, to think about what can I do with AI or in a different way, which I didn't do yesterday. The last principle here is the well-being of humans and nature should be the compass. Because we all know AI has enormous potential, and that's in both directions. I consciously left even more points on the side of the harm, because I think we should also take care of this. There is potential for good. For example, I read 3 days ago that AI discovers cancer 3 years earlier than humans. 3 years. This is the difference which makes the difference in cancer. The chance to survive is much higher in that situation, yes? Or personalizing education is a great possibility. Very low budget education possibilities. We could use it for resource efficiency, maybe especially in Europe. But there is for sure potential for harm. We know that dictatorships can use AI to stay in control, yes? Surveillance, manipulation, deepfakes, disinformation, or we all know about the bias in training data because it just feeds back what it has learned. And the ecological footprint is a catastrophe at the moment of AI. So we have huge potential in both directions. I don't think that we have the chance, if we see this as like driving a vehicle, we do not have the chance really to stop the vehicle because it is moving on. We can decide, do we want to accelerate it in our organization or not, and it might be wise, but the most important thing is to steer it. And that means we should come back and take the responsibility and make a reflection and to think about what are the social and ecological consequences of our AI transformation. And when do we need to involve legal departments, psychology, HR, and sustainability in order to make sure that this goes in a direction which makes sense? This is not an easy task. And I'm sure, hi, morning. This is probably the biggest challenge for the next years. So let me summarize the 6 AI principles or dealing with augmented humans with the metaphor of Aladdin. AI cooperation is dealing with wish-fulfilling genies. You could see it like that. Yeah? And the responsibility and controls should stay with us. You can imagine that some genies also have their, let's say, intentions and try to seduce you into something. So let's try to stay in control here. The performance grows by developing a team together with their genius. This reminds a little bit to Hogwarts or the school of the magic animals or something like that. And more wishes can be fulfilled. And other companies also develop genius, which means decisive and responsible, the balance here, transformation is key for surviving and thriving and co-creating the evolution here. And yes, most important of all, use your power having the well-being of humans and nature in mind. So if I summarize, what would be most important for me is AI is a superpower. If we build the skill using AI, we basically get at our hand lots of other skills. This is a one-time chance somehow in history as well. The other thing is when we are building our power, it is extremely important to also build our character and our maturity. Because a lot of power comes with a lot of responsibility, and yeah, this I would like to have as the basis of our day today. Thank you very much.
Gunther, stay. Thank you, Gunther, wow. What stays with me is from doing to thinking, to prevent garbage in, then garbage out. Mm-hmm. Wow. Don't know how you feel. Still, please, everybody using Slido for questions. I have one captured, so I'm pretty sure there are much more, but the one is, genie in a bottle. If you have one wish, what would it be?
For me, or?
For MDI, for you.
Another 100 wishes.
Or
that we will be able to deal with AI in a way which somehow makes us come on the next level of evolution. It's hard to say to have a better world or not a better world. This is too easy, I think. But to come to another level of evolution, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.